Hi, I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. My partner, Kristen Oaks-White, will be back next week. We begin with the big story from last week, Hurricane Francine. Francine made landfall in Terrebonne Parish on September 11th as a Category 2 storm with maximum sustained winds of 100 miles an hour. The wind and rain left behind weeks of work for cattle ranchers and sugarcane farmers in the storm's path.
The water in this pasture south of Houma is from the rain Hurricane Francine dumped as it made landfall. This is at H&M Ranch in the community of Berg. Colleen Landry and her fiancé Cody Batiste ride through the floodwaters to check on the 70 head of cattle.
That's the #1 source of our income, and cattle's going to come first before anything.
The pasture is about 150 acres, and you can see the Intracoastal Canal in the distance. It's what separates the pasture from the canal that's providing the cattle a way out of the water.
They're normally grazing out in the middle of all that back patch, and they're not. They're restricted to our little levee size that are a little bit higher. It cuts down their grazing.
Landry says about 75 acres of this pasture is flooded, and it will likely take about a month to a month and a half to pump all of the water out. But what's more concerning is the flooding in the hay fields. Hay she's yet to cut.
That is our lifeline here, basically, I guess you can say, because we use the hay to get our cattle through winter. That's what's going to hold them. That's what's going to keep them fed, keep these calves, because of course our calving season is November through April. So we're about to even start having calves. We've had, if I could say, a few early, but that's what feeds these mamas to support these babies.
Speaking of babies, this one here was a hurricane surprise.
We came the Thursday morning to take a ride, see the excessive damage in the back, and Cody had actually noticed that. He said, "Oh, that baby looks new." She was laying tucked close to her mom, and we were like, "Well, she sure is." So we did. We had a calf born.
Today we found out that it was a little female, so we wound up naming it Francine.
She's happy and healthy right now. That's all that matters.
Up the bayou in Thibodaux, where sugarcane is what matters, things were looking up before Francine.
This cane crop was going to be a bumper crop. It was really good. We could have really used not having Francine because these guys would have made some good money. And we're still going to be all right, but it would have been nice to have a bumper crop.
Andre Danos oversees the seed cane operation at Helena. Francine's winds blew plastic tanks through the fence behind the office and into nearby cane fields. A foot of rain falling over 10 hours flooded the office, as evidenced by the pile of wet carpet outside the front door.
That's why we had water here. We've never had water in the office before here in Thibodaux, and this storm just dumped a lot of water in a short amount of time.
From the air, you can see how much cane blew down, nearly all of it downed in the same direction.
She laid all of it down. There's not going to be any cane that's straight anymore. We had winds of 100+ mile an hour sustained and wind gusts. I've saw reports from people that were upwards in 120 mile an hour wind gusts. So it's all down across the whole area. But the equipment we have can go and get it. It'll be a little bit slower. The mills can grind it. It's not going to be an issue at all. We'll be able to make a good crop still.
In this shot, you can see where some of the sugarcane looks different from the rest, especially those rows right in the middle of your screen. Danos says those are two different varieties of sugarcane.
Some of the newer varieties are brittle and lodge really easy because they are such a heavier cane, and they do break. 885 is one of them. She's brittle on the top. She breaks easy. But we still gonna be able to make a crop. It's not gonna ruin the whole crop. Yields won't be what they could have been, but they'll still make a crop.
The LSU Ag Center is currently surveying the damage and economic impact to agriculture from Hurricane Francine. We'll bring you that update once they make it available.